Yanmaya vashavarti vishwamakhilam brahmadi deva sura yat sattva bhati sakalam rajjau yatha her brahmah yat padaplavamekame vahi bhavam bodhe sthitir shavatam Vandeham tamashesha karana param Ramakhyamisham harim Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Om Jaya Jaya Ram Om Syavar Ramachandra ki Jai Satgurunath Maharaj ki Jai Hari Om everyone. We have our Shivaratri coming up on March 1st. So we thought that these are beautiful occasions, very auspicious days to do sadhana on that day and also to take up some sankalpa leading up to that day. All of us have some Ishta Devata with whom we connect, to whom we worship every day. These occasions are an expression of that same devotion in a very concentrated form. Sometimes it is difficult to add new sadhanas, to add some new sankalpas in our daily routine because all of us lead such a busy life. So if adding it for the entire year, if that is not possible, then it is said we can take these sankalpas for a shorter duration. So keeping that in mind, we thought for this coming Shivaratri, we will take sankalpa of chanting Rudrashtakam, which comes in Ramcharitmanas in Uttara Kanda. Now it is ideal if we can do it as a family, but if not, we can do it by ourselves. Praying together has its own power. It is not about how many times we chant it, more the better, of course, but chanting it with devotion, chanting it in a way that it melts Bhagwan's heart. If you remember, last year we had done Shivamanasa Puja, Sankalpa, and I was very happy many of you shared that it became part of your regular sadhana after that. It doesn't take much time, hardly 5 minutes to chant. So Rudrashtakam is also like that. It is not too long, but it is said the same power which is there in chanting entire Rudram, that power is hidden in these verses of Rudrashtakam. So in many temples, in particular Lord Shiva's temple, there is Rudrashtakam which is kept outside the temple. I mean, the verses are printed. Devotees chant that every day, which this bhava that we are chanting Rudram only. The conventional Rudram that we chant, that is part of Vedas. So there are many restrictions which come while chanting Veda mantras. The same power, the same depth of the meaning, without too much of restrictions, Goswami has presented it for us in these 8 verses. Chanting them even without the meaning has its own beauty. We will enjoy just listening to the verses. Whether we know the meaning or not, Bhagavan says, I know the meaning. We chant with devotion, the result will be seen in our life. But it is always helpful if we know the meaning, it becomes sweeter. We can have more devotion while chanting it. And we feel we have come closer to that chant, to that verse, if we know the meaning of every word that we are chanting. So today, in the beginning of this session, we will try to reflect on the meaning of Rudrashtakam. And from today all the way until 1st of March, we will do Parayanam of Rudrashtakam at our own homes. There is a sign-up sheet. Those of you who are interested, you can sign up on the website. On Shivratri day, we will do Akhanda Nama Japa. We had announced it last Sunday, and also yesterday we had announced it. So I would encourage all of you to sign up, come for some time, be in the Sannidhi of Bhagavan and take Bhagavan's name. Okay, in that day we should keep our mind in Bhagavan as much as possible. And taking his name is one of the best ways to keep our mind in Bhagavan. Now the background behind this story, the Stuti, Rudrashtakam, where did it come about? Who is doing this Stuti? What is the previous background through which Rudrashtakam came about? So this goes back all the way in the war scene. When Bhagwan Rama was fighting Ravana, different warriors he would send. And in one battle that they were fighting on one of the days, everybody in Bhagwan's army, including Bhagwan, is tied by a weapon, which was similar to Nagapasha. Means all snakes came about and tied everybody. Bhagwan was also tied, Lakshmanji was tied, everybody was down. Naradji saw this and he quickly went to Garudji. He said, Garudji, what are you doing here? Your master is fighting the battle there and he has been tied by these snakes. Go quickly and release your master. So Garud Bhagwan quickly goes there and his food is snake. So he very quickly snaps, all of them and then releases everybody who was tied by that naga, by that snake. Sometimes when we are busy in work, we don't get many questions. We are so engrossed in the work that we do. Too many things don't come to our mind. We are just doing the work and moving on to the next task. Same thing happened with Garudji. While he was releasing everybody from that Nagapasha, everything was fine. But when he was on his way back, he got a doubt. Is this the same Bhagwan who is my master? Is this the same Bhagwan who is the Lord of this universe? Because I see that an ordinary Nagapasha tied him down. And people say that he is Sarva Shaktiman, Sarveshwara, has all the power. If I would have not come on time, then this world would be without Bhagwan. Right? So I have saved Bhagwan. Is this the same Bhagwan whom everybody worships as Brahma? Now you might find this question very similar to the question that Yajnavalkya asked. Very similar to the question that Parvati ji asked. So there are 3 students in Ramayana. All 3 have this question. I am seeing something and Upanishads are telling me something else. So this is the background by which Garud Bhagwan is going back to Vaikuntha, having this doubt in mind. On the way, he meets Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, you are a bird. So your language is very different I will send you to your teacher, whose name is Kaka Bhushandiji. He's in a crow form. You go and learn from him. Ask him this question. Who is Bhagwan Rama? If he is Bhagwan, how did he get tied? What is his true nature? This question will be answered by your teacher, Kaka Bhushandiji. Lord Shiva could have taught. But he says he is Garuda. He might be having some pride. I am the king of birds. What should I learn from a crow? So to bring that pride down also, Lord Shiva sends Garudji to Kaka Bhushandiji. Garudji says, as he came closer to Kaka Bhushandiji's ashram, within a radius of around 1 mile, there was so much of peace, so much of calmness over there. It was very indescribable. He did not know what was happening, but his mind found so much of calm. Goswamiji writes, this is what happens when Maya is removed. If there is one, Brahmajnani like Kaka Bhushandiji, who has transcended Maya and he is ever in satsang, right? Kaka Bhushandiji, who is ever in satsang, coming closer to Kaka Bhushandiji, Garudji felt this calmness. Then he goes and does pranams to Kaka Bhushandiji. And Kaka Bhushandiji now starts giving him the teaching. But before he starts the teaching, he says, let me tell you my story. Now, who is telling to whom? Kaka Bhushandiji, who is in a crow form. He is the guru, and Garudji, who is the king of birds, he is the student. He is listening, and Kaka Bhushandiji is telling his story. He says, I was not in this crow form all the time. Previously, I was a human being, and I was born in Ayodhya. I was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And one sadhana I did without fail. Every day I used to do it, one simple sadhana. Garudji must have asked, what is that sadhana? Can you tell me so that I can also start? This is very simple sadhana it was. I just took, one kalash of water. There was a Shiva mandir in my village where I was living. I would go there and just offer that water on the Shivalinga. Just say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadeva. No elaborate mantra, no lot of chanting. I did not know anything, but I had lot of devotion to Lord Shiva. But my devotion was such that I had dislike towards Lord Vishnu and devotees of Lord Vishnu. Because I thought my Lord Shiva is the greatest and all other Bhagwans, their devotees are not so great. I had lot of sharpness, in my personality. I used to get angry very quickly. All of that was there, but I was also a devotee of Lord Shiva. And one day what happened, that in Ayodhya there was a famine. So I had to move away from that city and I came to a city called as Ujjain. When I came to Ujjain, I started doing my other business and everything. But this one sadhana, I continued. What is that sadhana? Taking a kalash of water to that nearest Shiva mandir and then offering that on that Shivalinga. With devotion, I continued. But this fanaticism which was there in me, that was very strong. I said, Lord Shiva is my Bhagwan and all other Bhagwans are, different. They are not so great. But Kaka Bhushandiji says, grace of Bhagwan is such that even with all my shortcomings, all my negativities which were there, he sent me a very compassionate teacher in my life. And the teacher was such that with lot of love, he taught me all other devotional texts. He taught me about the greatness of Lord Shiva and the greatness of Lord Vishnu. But even while he was explaining, I was still insistent on my own opinion. He gave me mantra diksha. Kaka Bhushandiji is telling her. He gave me mantra diksha. Lord Shiva's mantra it must be. And I used to do that mantra japa also. But in spite of that, I had my own very strong opinions. I would not listen to what my teacher was telling me. Then one day what happened? I was sitting in a temple, Lord Shiva's temple. And I was doing this mantra japa. Which mantra japa? The same mantra which my teacher had given me. And while I was doing that mantra japa, my teacher came to that temple. And in my arrogance, I did not get up. I behaved as though I did not see my teacher. And I was just trying to avoid doing this mantra japa. Because again, he would say something that, all Bhagwans are the same and so on. So that I did not want to hear. That is why I ignored my teacher. Teacher did not feel anything. But Lord Shiva got angry. He appeared in that mandir and he gave me a curse. He said, you behaved like a python. When your guru came, you did not stand up. You behaved like a python. Ajgara, that vritti you had, that is why become a python. This was the shrapa that Lord Shiva gave because I did not stand up, for my teacher. Now my teacher was so compassionate that I started trembling. Kaka Bhushandiji says, listening to Lord Shiva's curse, I started trembling. But my teacher was so compassionate that he did a stuti, not for his sake, but for my sake. He did a stuti with so much of devotion, so much of fervor in his heart, that it melted Lord Shiva's heart. And if Bhagwan's heart melts, nothing is impossible. Trunam api vajri kartum shaknoti. He can make a blade of grass into a thunderbolt. That is the power of the Lord. That stuti, which he did with so much of devotion, that stuti is called as Rudrashtakam. So the main essence of this stuti is, may Bhagwan be pleased with me. And if he is pleased, whatever things I need in my life, all of it he will take care of. This prasanga, until this point, also highlights the importance of regularity in sadhana. Our mind is such that whatever sadhanas we have taken, every day doesn't want to do all of it. But at least one sadhana should be there, which we do not drop. Okay, it doesn't matter how simple it is, but something that one should do every day. Just like Kaka Bhushandiji took that kalash and put water over the Shivalinga. And the greatness of Bhagwan is, whatever he gives is much more than what sadhana we do. Like in Kaka Bhushandiji's case, he says, the result of that small little kalash, water pouring on Lord Shiva with devotion, was that he sent such a compassionate teacher in my life. And my journey has been such that today, O Garudji, I am giving you Brahma Vidya. So all those previous janmas he remembers, and as though he's telling Garudji that Bhagwan's heart is such, even if we do little, what he gives is much more than what we have done for him. Another part here is the compassion of the Guru. because he doesn't need anything for himself. But he is doing this stuti on behalf of the student and praying that, Bhagwan, may you be pleased and may you bestow upon him your blessings. Your Maya is such that we keep getting deluded. Only you can bring us out. Okay. So this is the stuti. Kari Dandavatas. This is Uttara Kanda. If you want to flip your Ramayana book, 107th Doha. After that, after 107th Doha, Kari Dandavata Saprema Dvija Siva Sanmukha Karajori Vinaya Karata Gada Gada Swara Samuji Ghora Gati Mori. Now, what is the bhava? What is the devotion or the heart with which one should do stuti? You say like this, how Kaka Bhushandiji's guru, his name was Lomasha Rishi. The way that he is doing stuti, like that one should do, with lot of humility. And this sincere prayer that Bhagwan, may you be pleased with me. Okay, we will chant it first and then reflect on the meaning. Namamishamishana nirvana rupam Vibhum vyapakam brahma veda swarupam Nijam nirgunam nirvikalpam niriham Chidakasham akashavasam bhajeham Nirakaram omkaram moolam turiyam Gira jnana gotitamisham girisham Karalam mahakala kalam krupalam Gunagara samsara param natoham Tusharadri sankasha gauram gabhiram Manobhuta koti prabhashri shariram Spuran mauli kallolini charu ganga Lasad bhala balendu kanthe bhujanga Chalat kundalam rusu netram vishalam Prasannananam neelakantham dayalam Mrugadhisha charamambaram mundamalam Priyam Shankaram Sarvanatham Bhajami Prachandam Prakrishtam Pragalbham Paresham Akhandam Ajam Bhanu Koti Prakasham Trayashula Nirmulanam Shula Panim Bhajeham Bhavani Patim Bhavagamyam Kalatita Kalyana Kalpantakari Sada Sajjanananda Data Purari Chidananda Sandoha Mohapahari Prasida Prasida Prabhu Manmathari Nayavadu Manatha Padaravindam Bhajanti haloke parevanarana Natavat sukham shanti santapanasham Prasida prabho sarva bhutadhivasam Najanami yogam japam naiva pujam Natoham sada sarvadasham tubhyam Jara janma dukhaugha tatapyamanam Prabho pahi apannamamisha shambho Prabho pahi apannamamisha shambho Rudrashtakamidam proktam Viprena haritoshaye ये पठन्ति नरा भक्त्या तेषां शम्भो प्रसीदति। हर हर नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Goswamiji's mastery over language is such that he composes stutis in such a effortless manner, mixing Awadhi and Hindi, or Awadhi Bhasha and Sanskritam. Mixing Awadhi and Sanskritam, he does lot of stutis. That's why some places grammar will be different. It is not Sanskrit grammar completely, like some words which are in neuter gender, they are actually masculine gender words. But because it is mix of Sanskritam and Awadhi, it's a different beauty to it. So this meter is called as Bhujanga Prayata Vritta Chanda. Bhujanga Prayata Vritta Chanda. Like how you have Gayatri Chanda, Anushtup Chanda. So this is Bhujanga Prayata Vritta Chanda. Because he got cursed to be a python, so Bhujanga means a snake. So he's using this chandas to compose this stuti. Now there is Nirguna Rupa of Bhagwan Shiva and Saguna Rupa of Bhagwan Shiva. Both of it Goswamiji elaborates. Namamisha Mishana Nirvana Rupam. Who is Lord Shiva? He is the Lord of all directions. And he is Nirvana Rupa, of the nature of moksha, that pure consciousness, that is my Lord Shiva. To that Lord Shiva, I offer my salutations. One meaning of the name of Lord Shiva, the Shiva, it means auspicious. Everything in this creation is auspicious. And my Bhagwan, who is appearing as his creation, that auspiciousness is Lord Shiva. Or the second meaning is, the root word for Shiva is Sherate. Sherate means that substratum in which everything dissolves. That substratum in which everything goes to sleep, that pure consciousness, that is Shiva. To that Chaitanya, I offer my salutations. Namamisha Mishana Nirvana Rupam. Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam. This Chaitanya alone is finite. It is a substratum of this infinite creation. So that is why it is Vibhu. It is not limited to just one form. But my Lord Shiva, who is appearing in one form, is pervading this entire creation. He is Vibhu and he is Vyapaka. All these are very deep Vedantic words. What is the difference between Vibhu and Vyapaka? In simple words, without becoming two, without bringing duality, this consciousness pervades all duality. Without itself becoming dual, whatever is appearing as dual, it pervades all of that as a substratum. So it is Vyapaka also, and it is Vibhu also. But by saying it is Vyapaka, there is no Vyapaka Vyapya Sambandha. Like you say, this carpet pervades the floor. There is floor also and there is carpet also. So when you say Bhagwan pervades creation, there are no two things. There is no consciousness as one entity and world as another entity. There is only one Chaitanya. Without becoming two, it is appearing as a substratum. Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam. It is of that supreme, it is of the nature of Supreme Brahma, which is again infinite. Whatever is infinite is Ananda Swarupa. Okay, finitude brings sorrow, finitude brings limitations. In Bhagwan, who is Chaitanya Swarupa, there is no finitude. And he is of the nature of Vedas. Vedas are Bhagwan's breath. And if one is able to live a life of dharma, live a life of karma yoga, then we are living in tune with Bhagwan. This we saw in yesterday's class, Bhagavad Gita class. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahmakshara samudbhavam. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi means all injunctions of karma yoga have come from Vedas. Brahma word there goes with Vedas. And these Vedas have come from Akshara. Akshara is Bhagwan only. So from Bhagwan came the Vedas. From Vedas came the injunctions of how to live our life doing this or having this karma yoga buddhi. And if somebody does their duties with that bhava, Bhagwan says, you are in tune with me. You are in tune with this law of this universe, this entire creation, which is working with this Swaha Bhava. So my Lord Shiva, who is of the nature of Vedas, to him I offer my salutations. Veda Swarupam. Nijam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriham. Nijam means one who is established in his own self. He doesn't need another substratum. He is the substratum of everything. Maya appears in Bhagwan. In this Chaitanya, Maya appears. That Chaitanya doesn't need any other substratum. Swe Mahimni Pratishtita. One who is devoid of Maya, to that Bhagwan, I offer my salutations. Nirgunam. He is devoid of gunas. If at all gunas are appearing, it is like the blue color appearing in that space, appearing in the sky. The space or the sky by itself doesn't have that blue color. In the same way, Bhagwan in his essential form is that Chaitanya without any gunas. Nirvikalpam, Nirgunam, Nirvikalpam. Vikalpa here you can say in the form of thoughts. In essential nature as Chaitanya, Bhagwan is devoid of all vikalpas, all parts, all other attributes. Devoid of that is Bhagwan's essential nature. Niriham means in that Chaitanya there is no desire of any kind. Saying that this Chaitanya desired to appear as many, that is Adhyaropa. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti. This Chaitanya desired to become many and appeared as his creation. That is its conditioned form. In its essential nature, it is niriham, without any desire. Chidakasha makasha vasam bhajeham. I worship my Lord Shiva, who is of the nature of Chaitanya. Chit akasha he is. Akasha means that which accommodates everything. So Chaitanya is that substratum which accommodates everything. This entire creation filled with so many varieties. The substratum of all these varieties is my Lord Shiva. Chidakasham akasha vasam bhajeham. And also his clothing, his digambara, his clothing is akasha. The space itself is his clothing. To that Lord Shiva, I offer my salutations. Now in his Leelas also, Bhagwan says or shows that he belongs to everybody. He himself, he accommodates everybody, but whenever prasangas are there and whenever you see Shiva Ganas who are around Lord Shiva, he says all kinds of people are welcome in my group. We saw in the portion of the wedding of Lord Shiva, Shiva Parvati Vivaha, that all Shiva Ganas who were there, Bhagwan did not leave anybody out. Everybody went along with Lord Shiva. So that is his nature, like Akasha. Very, very accommodating, very easy to please. Nirakaram Omkara Moolam Turiyam. Now all this is Nirguna Rupa, devoid of attributes, devoid of Maya Upadhi. Bhagwan is Nirakara, he is formless. And he is that substratum of Omkara, which represents all three states of experiences: waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. He is the substratum of all of that, called as Turiyam. In Omkara, the three syllables are mapped to three states of experiences. A is mapped to waking state, U is mapped to dream state, and Makara is mapped to deep sleep state. And the silence, which is a substratum of that Omkara, that silence is marked by Turiya. But it is only Maya Sankhya Turiyam. There is no fourth state called as Turiya. It is Turiya in which all three states come and go. So that Moolam, the root of Omkara, that substratum in which all states of experiences come and go, that substratum is my Lord Shiva. I think at this space, if we go, we'll need 2 classes. Nirakara Omkara Moolam Turiyam Gira Jnana Gotitam Misham Girisham. And he is beyond the reach of speech. Gira means speech. Jnana means thoughts. And Go means sense organs. One who is beyond speech, beyond the mind, beyond sense organs. Natatra chakshur gacchati, nava gacchati, no manaha. That Shuddha Chaitanya is Lord Shiva. Now his Saguna form, until this point was Nirguna form. Karalam Mahakala Kalam Kripalam. There are times when he can become very ferocious. Karalam means that, very terrible. When he hears that Satiji is insulted in Daksha's Yajna, then he becomes Karala Rupa. Veerabhadra came out of one strand of Lord Shiva. And with this anger only, he does pralaya of this entire creation. Mahakala Kalam he is. Just like in deep sleep, all names and forms are dissolved. Bhagwan does samhara of this creation at the end of the cycle of one, kalpa. The one who dissolves this creation creatively, that is my Lord Shiva. But is he always in this form? Always ferocious, always destroying things? No. He is Krupalam also. He is very, very compassionate, very easy to please. Do stuti with devotion, and what Bhagwan can give is much more than what we have prayed for. Gunagara samsara param natoham. He is the abode of all values and virtues. In Ramcharitmanas only, so many times we saw this. That is humility, being Adi Guru. Adi Guru means one who was never ignorant. Tomorrow we will see this in Vedanta Sara class also. Adi Guru cannot be ignorant. Means Ishvara or Bhagwan, who is the foremost of the Gurus, he is always endowed with knowledge. Otherwise, Guru Parampara will start from an ignorant person. Right? What will ignorant person teach his disciple? Ignorance only. So you will have a very different parampara if it has to be Vidya Sampradaya. So then Adi Guru always has to be ever endowed with knowledge. That's why we chant Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Such a Adi Guru goes to Kumbhaj Rishi. We saw earlier in Ramcharitmanas. To do what? To hear Ramakatha. Sits in the audience and listens to Ramakatha from Agastya Rishi. His humility, that is why his Gunagara, the ocean of all gunas. His attention to details and appreciation of emotions of others. We saw this in the marriage procession. Right? All other Shiva Ganas were there. Devatas were on their own getting ready for Lord Shiva's marriage. And Lord Shiva doesn't have his relatives and families from his side to accompany. So all Shiva Ganas start decorating Lord Shiva. With what? With snakes, with all other vibhuti and other things. Bhagavan says, okay, you do whatever you want. If that gives you joy, that is the way you can serve me. And when they start that wedding procession, Bhagavan notices that these Shiva Ganas are feeling little awkward. Because all Devatas are so nicely dressed. Everybody is getting ready to go to this Vivaha. So the Shiva Ganas are feeling little awkward. So he tells all other Devatas, you all go in front and tell them that we are coming. And we will come a little behind you. Goswamiji wrote in that prasanga, this was just keeping in mind the emotions of those Shiva Ganas. They should not feel left out. Keeping that emotion in mind, Bhagavan sends all Devatas ahead. There are so many prasangas, but two we can reflect on just to appreciate the word Gunagara. One who is the ocean of all gunas. Samsara param natoham, worshipping whom one goes beyond samsara. He himself is beyond samsara, worshipping whom we go beyond samsara. This previously we had seen, Lord Shiva's family. Everybody's vehicle is enemy of each other. So many elements are there in the family that they are sworn enemies. Like the peacock eats the snake as its food. And the Vahana, the vehicle of Parvati ji is a lion. That lion eats Nandiji, the cow, which is there. The snake is eyeing the mouse of Ganesh Bhagwan. This is just to show, in spite of being in a family which has so many pairs of opposites, Lord Shiva is still able to go in Samadhi. Very rarely he comes out. That is this word, samsara param. Transactionally also, he is beyond samsara. Mind always filled with sattva guna, mind reveling in that highest truth. Tusharadri sankasha gauram gabhiram. Now Bhagwan's saguna form is described, that he is white as the snow-clad Himalayan mountains. Bhagwan's sharira, Bhagwan's body is white as that. And his personality is very deep. Although externally he wears all those snakes and vibhuti and everything, but his personality is very, very gabhira, very deep. Manobhuta koti prabha shri shariram. What does manobhuta mean? Manobhuta is another name for Kamadeva. You see the word Goswamiji has used. One that is born from the mind is Kamadeva. Manobhuta koti prabha shri shariram. Bhagwan's sharira, Bhagwan's body, has that kind of effulgence, that kind of beauty, which would be there when thousands of Kamadevas are put together. That is the glow on Bhagwan's sharira. Spuran mauli kalloli ni charu ganga. These chaupais are so beautiful. It feels like, Gangaji is flowing with this chaupai. Spuran mauli kalloli ni charu ganga. On his head sports Gangaji, who is flowing down, in a very playful manner. Kallolini means making that kallola, that sound that she makes while she flows. With that sound, she is flowing down. Lasad bhala balendu kanthe bhujanga. And on his forehead, he adorns the crescent moon. And in his neck, he has that bhujanga, the snake. May Lord Shiva be pleased with me. Chalat kundalam bhrusu netram vishalam. Now Goswamiji is describing Bhagwan's physical form, Saguna Sakara Rupa. His earrings, they are moving in that breeze, in that wind of Kailasha. Chalat kundalam it is, not stationary. It's making that sound. Eyebrows and eyes are beautiful and big. Bhru sunetram vishalam. This is symbolic of everything in Lord Shiva is auspicious. Looking at Lord Shiva, we invoke a sense of auspiciousness. What we otherwise chant as Bhadram Karnebhihi Shunuyama Devaha. That is Chalat Kundalam. Looking at Bhagwan, all our ears, whatever things are going inside, they become auspicious. Bhadram Pashema Akshabhihi Yajatraha. Looking at his form, his eyes, that invokes a sense of auspiciousness. Prasannananam Neelakantham Dayalam. His face is ever prasanna. You look at our Lord Shiva, this Chaupahi will open up more. Prasannananam, his face is shining that knowledge which is there in his heart. Prasannata on the face is a reflection of prasannata in the mind. Neelakantham means when difficulties came for devatas, Lord Shiva was there for them to help. Although nobody came to him to take any advice before. Right? When Samudra Manthanam was being done, nobody came to Lord Shiva and asked, Bhagwan, how should we do this? Nothing was asked. He could have said, you never came to me before. Why are you coming now when problem is there? He doesn't say that because he is Dayalam. Right? Dayalam means one who is ever ready and accepting of everyone. Now these are the indicators of Bhagwan's nature. More we hold on to it, more we can bask in the warmth of Bhagwan's nature. Mrugadhisha Charmambaram Mundamalam, who is clothed, his clothes is the lion skin, and he is wearing a mala of skulls, Mundamalam. Bhagwan's form is very different. Priyam Shankaram Sarvanatham Bhajami. One who is dear to everybody, Priyam Shankaram Sarvanatham. He is the Lord of each and every one in this creation, doesn't leave anybody out. We had seen the symbolic meaning of this earlier. Means he is the Lord of all thoughts. But if we can make a thought like Nandiji, single pointed, always turned towards Bhagwan, he will make Nandiji as his Vahana. In that thought, Bhagwan will ride over and he will bring lot of joy in this mind. Bhagwan is ever there. We just have to become the fit vehicle for Bhagwan to ride over. Prachandam Prakushtam Pragalbham Paresham. Prachandam means one who is very ferocious. Prakushtam means he has the most exalted conditioning. Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Utkrushta Upadi. Utkrushta and Prakrushta, same word it is. Vedanta Saraha, parallels they are. Pragalbham means one who is very skilled in Shastrartha. When Lord Shiva says something, his words are irrefutable. Adi Guru he is, right? All skills, in particular Shastra, he is so skilled in it that his words are irrefutable. That is Pragalbham. Paresham, he is the Supreme Most Lord. Ishana, one who does ruling over this creation, that is Lord Shiva. Akhandam Ajam Bhanu Koti Prakasham. Akhandam means he is devoid of any parts and is unborn. Bhanu Koti Prakasham, he is resplendent, brilliant and shining like thousands of suns put together. Now he holds a Trishul in his hand. What is that Trishul representing? Such a beautiful portion this is. Trayashula Nirmulanam Shula Panim. Trayashula, the three pricks that we have in our life. His Trishula is there. So Shula word is used in both places. Trayashula are the three pricks which constantly keep bothering us. And his Shula is there to remove this pinpricks of life. Trayashula Nirmulanam. With his Trishula, he removes all the pinpricks of life. Now, what are these pinpricks? The three tapas which are there. One coming from our own mind and physical body. Another coming from surrounding around us. And third coming from phenomenal forces. All three of them, Bhagwan removes. How does he remove? What is his method of removing? We cannot describe Bhagwan's ways, but we can appreciate a little bit of it. How he does, he only knows. Devotee will say, I have full conviction that he does. One way that he does is by his grace. Like how he is removing the three shula for Kaka Bhushandiji. Now he will do that. After the stuti is done, he will mellow down his curse. So one Nirmulanam he does by just his grace. Second Nirmulanam means removing of that pinprick. The three pinpricks he does by giving knowledge. Bhagwan doesn't want his devotees to be ignorant. He says, I will bring grace, I will shower my grace. All other anxieties will go away. But at the same time, he gives opportunities for us to gain knowledge. Through knowledge, prasannata is gained in the mind. This Bhagwan said in Bhagavad Gita also. Ragadvesha viyuktestu vishayan indresharan atma vashyar vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopa jayate. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji pointed out there which hani is happening. He said hani of the three tapas. Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika and Adhidaivika. Now there it is. By living an alert life, by living our life according to Karma Yoga teaching, all these three tapas are taken away. Mana prasada comes. That prasada is also Bhagwan's blessing only. You should always remember, Karma Yoga teaching is Bhagwan's words. It is not somebody who has composed. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji has not composed guidelines for Karma Yoga. Bhagwan says, this is my words, it has come from Vedas. So in both ways, Bhagwan does this Nirmulanam. Trayashula Nirmulanam Shula Panim. One is directly by his grace. In addition to grace, he brings knowledge. Bhajeham Bhavani Patim Bhavagamyam. I worship Lord Shiva, the Bhavani Pati, husband of Parvati ji. But how do you attain him? Ahilya ji had said, Bhagwan is Jnanagamya. Jnanagamya Jaya Raghurai. Kaka Bhushandiji's guru is telling, Lord Shiva is Bhavagamya. Means for Saguna form of Bhagwan, the most important ingredient is the purity of our bhava. It doesn't matter how long our prayers are. He says even short time you do it with intensity with our mind in that prayer at that point. Okay, bhajeham bhavani patim bhavagamya. Kalatita kalyana kalpantakari. Kalatita means Bhagwan is above all his kalas. Means whatever powers he has perfect vairagya towards all of them. As Chaitanya, of course, he is untouched by all those kalas, but even in his saguna form, he has vairagya towards all his kalas. That is why he can do samhara. Kalpantakari means one who destroys this entire creation towards the end of the cycle of creation, but creatively destroys. That is why the word is there, Kalyana Kalpantakari. In destruction also, there is a ground laid out for some creative work which is going to come up next. That's why our creation cycle is cyclical. Destruction is there, again it comes back. If vairagya is not there, it is very hard to destroy. But destroy not in conventional sense, not out of aviveka, but with lot of care. Sada Sajjanananda Data Purari. He is the enemy of Tripura, Asura. But to those people who are sadhakas, who are sajjana, to them he is the bestower of Ananda. Sada Sajjanananda Data Purari. There was never a time when somebody became sajjana and Bhagwan did not bring Ananda in their life. Okay, Sada word means that. Chidananda Sandoha Mohapahari. In his essential nature, he is Chaitanya Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa, Chit Swarupa he is. Sandoha means mass of, or the essence, of this entire nature of Bhagwan is Chidanandamaya. Sandoha means like milking the cow. The Dohana Kriya, that word is used over here. Sandoha means that. The essence of this entire process is that milk that you get. Sarvopanishado Gavaha, Dogdha Gopalandaraha. So in that way, if you take essence of this entire creation, essence of the nature of Bhagwan, you will find Chidananda, that pure consciousness, which is the essence of it. Mohapahari, removes all delusions. Prasida Prasida Prabho Manmathari. O Lord Shiva, be pleased with me. You are the enemy of Kamadeva. Prasida Prasida Prabho Manmathari. This is the main essence of this entire stuti. May Bhagwan be pleased with me. Nayavat Umanath Padaravindam Bhajantiha Loke Parevanarana. Natavat Sukham Shanti Santapanasham Prasida Prabho Sarva Bhutadivasam. In this verse, Goswamiji is telling one should drop false expectations. What is that false expectation? That staying away from Bhagwan, somehow or the other, I will try to be happy. You see, that person cannot be happy in this world, forget about anywhere else. Na yavad umanatha padaravindam, unless one develops devotion to Bhagwan, bhajanti iha loke parevanarana. Unless we worship Bhagwan, padaravindam bhajanti iha loke paraloke, either in this world or in other worlds, there is no sukham for that person, nor is there quietening of all agitations in this mind. Na tavat sukham shanti santapanasham. Unless somebody worships, until that point, removing of santapa, removing of all other agitations and bringing sukham in our life, that is not possible. Unless somebody becomes devotee of Bhagwan. That drop, if it says, I want to stay away from ocean, it doesn't take much time for it to evaporate. But if it says, I want to become one with ocean, then it's very difficult for that drop to evaporate. It can sustain the heat in better way by becoming one with that ocean. So Jiva saying, I will remain separate from Bhagwan, Actually speaking, it cannot. Right? In totality, individual is included already. But out of its own delusion, it says, I want to remain separate from Bhagwan. So that false hope one should drop. न जानामि योगम जपम नैव पूजाम न तो हम सदा सर्वदा शंभुतुभ्यम. Bhagwan, Lomash Rishi is saying, who is such a great accomplished Rishi, that I don't know any yoga. Means I don't practice lot of Ashtanga yoga, lot of intricacies I don't know. Japa, how to do it, I don't know. My mind wanders over and over again. Pujanam I do, that also there is some shortcoming. So in true sense, I don't know how to do yoga, I don't know how to do japa or pujanam. But one thing I know, that my goal is only you. Natoham sada sarvada shambhutubhyam. Never has been a time where I have had anything else as my goal. That is what I have. Jara janma dukkhauga tatapyamanam. Bhagwan, may you be pleased with me and free me from this anxiety of old age. Jara, janma dukkha, and the sorrow which comes with taking of birth and taking several bodies as birth and death. All that sorrow, may you remove it. Tatapyamanam, I'm scorched by it. May your grace remove all of that. Prabho pahi apannam, Prabho pahi apannam amisha shambho. To that Lord Shiva, I offer my pranams. May Bhagwan's grace be always there with me. Rudrashtakam idam proktam. This Rudrashtakam has been said by Lomasha Rishi, by that Vipra, for pleasing Lord Shiva. Hari toshaye proktam. Means Phalashruti this is. If somebody can chant with that bhava, like how Lomash Rishi chanted, that will please Bhagwan Shiva. Ye patanti nara bhaktya teshaha shambhu prasidati. Those devotees who chant this with devotion, with bhava, Lord Shiva is pleased with them. And if Bhagwan is pleased, nothing is impossible. Okay, that is our prayer until Shivaratri. With devotion and with bhava, we will do this chanting at our own time, preferably with families. And then again on Shivaratri day, we will spend our entire day, whatever time we can, taking Bhagwan's name. So the sign up for Akhanda Nama Japa is already up. I would very much encourage all of you to sign up. 15 minutes if you can come, and for some time sit in Bhagwan's presence, take his name. It's a very unique experience. We used to have this in Sandeepany in Bombay, where morning 6 o'clock chanting starts, goes all the way until night 12 o'clock. And the mind would be so much in this laya. Laya means, it gets so much of joy in that nama that even after that, Bhagwan's name keeps going on. The chanting keeps going on the next day also. So together, we will seek his blessings and grace. Okay. I was hoping to continue with all the dohas and chaupais today, but that will continue in the next session. Another beautiful prasanga is going to come. What is the symbolic meaning of the wedding of Lord Rama, Sita ji, all the four brothers? That we will see in the next session. Do our Nama Sankirtan. Aganita Gunagana Bhushan Rama, Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama, Ayodhyavasi Sita Rama, Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama, Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama, Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama, Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama, Kamita Phalada Jaya Jaya Rama, Papa Vimochana Shri Rama, Pattabhi Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Janaki Vallabha Sita Rama, Jaya Raghu Rama Jaya Sita Rama, वानर सेवित श्री रामा वारिधि बंधन जय जय रामा हनुमत पूजित सीता रामा श्री राम जय रामा रघुपति राघव राजा रामा पतित पावन सीता रामा श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।